We're back on Game Time Live, getting you set for Blazers Rockets on NBA TV at 8 Eastern. But the big breaking news story, as reported by ESPN, is that K.Leonard is going to miss his third straight game tonight with a left knee injury. It'll be the fifth game he misses this season. He has yet to play a game with Paul George. And when Kawhi does not play, the Clippers are 1-3. So let's bring back in Kevin McHale, Wes Wilcox, Jared Greenberg with you here, just to get some thoughts, Wes, on what maybe, we made a big deal of this load management thing, but truly it looks like there was some substance behind it, that the Clippers are trying to protect him from what might be a significant injury.
Yeah, no, there's a clear difference between load management and just injury management. And oftentimes an organization may want to protect the player. And so what is shared publicly may be, just a little more towards protecting the player than sharing all of the medical information. And I'll also say, watching him play these last couple of games, Toronto, he really struggled. We know Toronto double-teamed him. Toronto had a great game plan going up against him. But then Houston, when the Clippers played in Houston, Kawhi's last game, the team struggled. The Clippers really struggled in that game, and Kawhi just didn't look himself. So it sounds like there's a real injury here.
Yeah, I thought the Toronto game, he had 9 turnovers, but that was mostly they just ran at him and took the ball out of his hand. The next game, he just didn't have the typical Kawhi juice. He always plays at a very, very a pace that he wants to play at. He only goes as fast as he needs to go. But yeah, he didn't look quite right. And right now is the time. Early in the season, Paul George just came back. If Kawhi needs some time, give him some time now, because that team is built for next April, May, and June. That's right. What they're looking at. So give him a little bit of time right now, but I hate to see the guy get injured just because he's such a dynamic player, and he's had such bad luck. Remember 2 years ago, he didn't play at all.
Yeah, 9 games.
Yeah, that's not playing at all.
Yep.
That's just
I'm sorry. I thought I was agreeing with you.
No, that's not playing at all. 9 games out of 82 is not enough. But then last year, of course, he played 62 or 60 of the 82. So you just want to see him get healthy.
For sure.
Tonight, the Clippers have OKC, which is a game you say, okay, we should be okay without Kawhi, but it gets significantly more challenging as the week goes on. Wednesday night, the Clippers home for the Celtics, and then Friday, home for the Rockets. So we'll see and monitor and see what maybe Doc Rivers has to say prior to tonight's game. Again, Kawhi Leonard, according to ESPN, will miss his third straight game with a left knee contusion. From that, we ask you to check out the top plays on NBA.com/video for your daily and weekly top plays. Now here's the top 10 plays from Week 4 in the NBA.
Trez up high, blocked by Boucher. Clippers can still restore the...
I like what you're saying.
Oh my goodness, Ja Morant. Oh my goodness, how do you do? What did we just see?
How did he do that?
Harden lob for Chandler! Exclamation point!
Seven. Barrett outside the switch. Doncic goes, oh, what a great step! And then he hammers it home! Broke his ankles and pounds it for 2. What a play!
And how about the finish?
Morant down the lane, lays it up, and in! Holy cow! With 7/10 of a second, Ja Morant!
Jokic putting it on the deck against Towns. Wild shot by Jokic. Oh, are you kidding? Wow.
2.4.
Wow. Jokic throwing up a wild shot.
He threw that between Rubio's legs.
Little nutmeg and 5 quick points, and looking to make it 6 with the and 1.
Wow. That's all I got to say is wow.
They give it to Washington. Graham goes backdoor. Graham puts up a 3.
Oh, it's good! It's good! And Charlotte takes the lead with 2.1 remaining.
shoot 38% from downtown. Here comes LBJ! Look out! Oh, the crowd on their feet. That's what they came to see. If nothing else happens, they're happy now.
Monk fires. It's good. It's official. Malik Monk, how do you do?
From the top 10 plays of last week to a man very capable of starting off this week with a top play. Damian Lillard and the Blazers looking to win consecutive games for just the second time this season. You'll see Portland at Houston coming up at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on NBA TV. Back on Game Time Live, getting you set for the Blazers and Rockets, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on NBA TV. Well, it's been a rough start for the Blazers, but don't blame Damian Lillard, who's been carrying the load and playing a whole bunch of minutes, just a tick more than Fred VanVleet to give him the league lead for minutes played per game so far this season. And, oh, look, there's C.J. McCollum at third, so the backcourt doing a whole lot. Maybe they start to get a bit of a break once Carmelo Anthony officially joins the squad. Could that happen tomorrow night? Maybe, but Lillard talking about how he will certainly get a whole bunch of help once Melo is on board.
I'm all for it. I think we're in a position where we got a lot of guys hurt. I think he can do something to help us with his size, his ability to space the floor, his ability to shoot. Another option, to throw somebody the ball that can score in isolation situations. Good rebounder, and just the experience. He's a good player, regardless of what the last few years, in Houston and OKC looked like. I didn't think either one was a great fit. And I think he can do things to help our team. So, we're not in a position to complain about it. He's a Hall of Fame player and he can still play. So hopefully, it'll bring some excitement and get us going, help us get going in the right direction.
Well, you'll possibly get to see Melo's debut in a Blazers jersey against his former team. How about the schedule makers doing us a huge favor? And you'll be able to see it on center court on NBA TV Tuesday night. We've got the Blazers taking on the Rockets. That's tonight. And then tomorrow night, Blazers against the Pelicans. So a big week here for Blazers on NBA TV. So that's tonight and tomorrow night. Right now, let's go to Houston and welcome one of the newest members of our NBA.com family covering the Texas squads. That is Michael C. Wright. Michael, I know you're on Texas beat here, but let's talk first about what you've been hearing about Portland, who is in Houston tonight. And they haven't made it official yet with Carmelo Anthony, but what are people saying around the Blazers team about when and if?
Well, obviously, Terry Stotts shut the whole thing down when anybody tried to ask officially on the record about it. But he did say that Carmelo is supposed to join the team tonight after the game. They're going to fly out of Houston tonight, head to New Orleans, and Carmelo is supposed to meet up with them there. Now, he could be making his debut against the New Orleans Pelicans, but I think that's the earliest he'll be making that debut. So I would say, help is on the way, but I just don't know exactly how soon it'll be. But he definitely will be in New Orleans meeting up with the team tonight.
All right, that game will be tomorrow night again on NBA TV. The Blazers have just announced who their starting lineup is for tonight. And again, Nasir Little is in it. We'll see if that changes once Carmelo becomes official, potentially tomorrow night. Let's shift gears and talk about one of the teams you cover on a regular basis, that is the Houston Rockets. What have you noticed from James Harden this year, different from other years, with the numbers he's putting up and the respect nationally that he is getting now?
I'm not going to say this is different. This is what I'm going to say is this is the exact same thing. It's like with James Harden, it's like Groundhog Day. Think about this. It seems like the last 2 or 3 years, we're always talking about what's wrong with James Harden. He's not playing so well. He's not shooting the ball very well. And that happens, it seems like, at the beginning of every year. And then you go talk to Mike D'Antoni, and he's like, oh, I'm not worried about James. James is going to find his stroke, and he'll be just fine. And look, this is what we have right now. I mean, the guy over the last 7 games is shooting 41% from 3. My math, I majored in journalism for this very reason. My math is a little shaky, but I believe if he scores 47 tonight, that would put him at 40-point scoring average, on the season. And as you guys know, if he were to somehow finish the season averaging 40 points a game, there's only one other guy that's done that. That's Will Chamberlain.
Yeah, that's amazing when you talk about averaging 40 points a game. You know, they're playing a little faster. James has been on a roll. But defensively, the Rockets have been just better. What do you notice in their defense? Because they've been putting up nice defensive numbers here as of late.
Well, you know what? I think, like, one of the biggest things, and Mike D'Antoni has talked about this since last season, he talked about rebounding. You know, defensive rebounding. He talked about that a lot. He said that was one of the team's weaknesses coming into this year, and he said that, you know, he was really happy to have Russell Westbrook because that's one of the things that he does well. And that helps them to get out in transition, obviously. And, you know, as fast as those guys go, they're able to make a lot of plays that way. But then, you know, you've got athletic guys like Clint Capella, and he's really coming into his own. You know, I mean, this is a bouncy, you know, just rim running guy. And he's only going to get better with the, you know, more experience and, you know, the older he gets. And, you know, Mike D'Antoni, you know, he was sort of critical of him earlier in this season. He said he needed to get better. But, you know, when he's been able to play, he's played well. And by the way, he is playing tonight.
And Michael, their defense is much better as well, like you're just talking about, but it's also their pace. Last year, we know they were one of the slowest paced teams in the NBA. This year, they're at the top of the league in pace. Like, can you share with us, like, how did that come about? How are they playing so much faster?
Well, I think Russ has a lot to do with it, man. You know how that goes. And, you know, one thing, and maybe it's just a small thing that I noticed, but, you know, usually, you know, in the third quarter, you know, James Harden goes out towards the end, and then Russell comes in, and, like, he sort of closes the game. But from the time he's in while James Harden is out, it seems like, you know, Russell Westbrook really gets in kind of a groove, you know, and by the time James comes back in the game, he's fully lathered up. He's ready to go. And then the next thing you know, you see Russ running and making all these cuts, and James is throwing him lobs and, you know, all kinds of passes, and, you know, they're making this thing work. And so, you know, it's really interesting. You know, like right now, James and Russell are both averaging 20-plus points. Don't you know that the last time they've had two Rockets averaging 20-plus points, that was like 07-08. That was Yao Ming and T-Mac. That was a long time ago.
Well, Michael C. Wright, appreciate you chiming in here on the pregame, getting set for the Rockets and Blazers on NBA TV. We will check out your work on NBA.com. All right, there's Michael. Appreciate the time there. Let's talk about the other squad here, Portland, and what's on the way here. We assume, and again, there's not been an official announcement. Terry Stotts is not acknowledged yet. We do anticipate, according to reports, that he will join the team, as Michael Wright has just said, tonight, and that we'll be with them tomorrow in New Orleans in a game you could see on NBA TV. But what's your take here, Mac, on what Carmelo Anthony adds to a team that seemed like, is this a desperate move by them, and what can he bring to the table?
It does have a little hint of desperation, I think, because what I notice about Portland right now, they're not getting any runouts, they're not getting defensive stops, they're not getting deflections, they're not getting a lot of things that lead to easy baskets. So you're basically, they're playing a lot of half-court basketball, which you know, when you got a jump shooting team, and Melo anymore, you saw him in the post there on that thing. Melo stays outside more. He's another jump shooter, and jump shooting comes and goes like the weather. And so, well, to me, Portland needs to be able to establish some more stuff in the paint, get some steals, get some defensive rebounds, get out and run, get some easy baskets. They've lost their mojo, and as a team, when I watch them, I don't see what I used to see in them. Just kind of a sense of purpose in how they played. So, but I'm not sure Melo is the answer to that. I mean, they're trying stuff. I'll give them credit, but they just have got to get that next gear going. They just seem like they're just stuck. Like you're always thinking, okay, when's this Portland offense going to explode? When they're going to go run off some threes, some activity and stuff? They're a different team this year. Replaced a lot of players, but they haven't found any rhythm.
You know, you just said it. They have a lot of new players on the team. They've dealt with injuries, especially on the front line.
Yeah.
Collins is a huge loss for them. He's one of the best defensive big guys in the entire NBA. You know, of course, we know they have the Nurkic injury. Skal Labissière, you know, a replacement level player on an ankle. So I actually like this move for the Blazers. They're about the same defensive team they were last year, 19th or so in defensive rating. Their drop, last year they were third in offense. Mm-hmm. This year they're middle of the pack in offense. And if there's anything that Carmelo can add to this team, it's a little bit of an offensive firepower, especially at the 4 position. It may be desperate, but this is the time of the year where you got to go to the replacement market to add to your team. And I like this move by the Blazers.
Yeah, but their offense is going to pick up unless they get higher quality shots, unless they get some easy shots. Now, easy shots have got to come for your defense. Their defense has never been great, but Freak, Amino, and those guys,
for sure,
they get their hands on balls. And Harkless, Long, they would get those steals. And I can't tell you what a steal and a run out and a layup does for your confidence. And they're not getting those. Those guys are not getting any easy hoops. So I just think they've got to get better defensively. They've never been a great defensive team, but they had guys that could get steals and were long. And need easy baskets.
Quickly, does it matter if Melo starts or comes off the bench?
I hope it doesn't matter for Melo's sake, because that's what's gotten him. Well, that's one of the things that's gotten him trouble before.
Yeah, but Melo's never been a great defender. So I mean, whatever he's doing, he's going to have to up his defensive effort a little bit with this team, because that team needs to generate some good offense from their defense. And starting or coming off the bench, I think Melo has got to look at it and be, I'm a 25, 26 minute a game guy, and whether I start or come off the bench, I'm going to play about half a game.
Yeah. I love that flosser in your hand, by the way. That's just got me all sorts of distracted here, Matt.
Yeah, I just had it here. I don't know why. It was just here, so I'm playing with it. Okay, hold on. I'll start playing with my stick for my copy. Does that make you better?
I'm just confused why you're flossing on the desk.
I'm not. I got a stick here. I had my pen for a while. This thing was sitting here. Just doing my thing.
Well, we've got a lot of potentially Carmelo Anthony on Turner Sports this week, maybe tomorrow night on center court against the Pelicans. Luka Doncic, he's the NBA's 5th leading scorer. We'll talk about how great he has been, and maybe Kevin will floss for us when we come back.
No flossing. Yeah, no flossing.